Hello, everyone. We are in the Capital Markets Congress, and now we are going to talk about the successful entrepreneur women. Now we have an honored guest, and she will be invited to the floor. And I hope you will carefully follow our panel. First of all, I would like to kindly invite Leila Alaton Holdings member of board. The kind. Um, the floor is yours. Thank you so much. It is actually a different scene. The panelists are here, but you are in your homes or in your offices, but we have dressed fancy for you, and I hope it will be a beautiful panel for you because this is the most important topic about the contribution of women to the economy and as a scale, actually, to create and scale. It is the duty of it for years and years. The independency of women in economic context and their contribution to economy was my passion. Everyone, I think, know that, and on that issue, for I have worked in every worked with every women organization. For example, Kagidar. I'm proud of being the founder of Kagidar. Now, Emine Hanım, the chair of the organization, will moderate this panel. And it's actually an area that we put a lot of effort in, actually, both for inspiring, both for saying that you can do that, and both for providing and preparing the ground for it. Of course, ideas are not enough. The money, the capital is the main issue. Capital, and capital. So you say, yes, capital is an enormous one in the world, but it is the important thing, the right thing is to channel it in the right channel. Only technology companies are having the money. The money is flowing to them, you know. If they have even a light, a glimpse of it, the money immediately goes there, or the investment immediately goes to that channel. So I believe that in Turkey, yes, we do here and there, we do some things, but we have to achieve something to a specific scale, because for the ones to making everyone to gather to create this thing, to achieve this thing, it is important, I think. After that only we can have a place in the capital markets. We are having two challenges. First, women are not having some equal number of women in the managerial board of every company is important. No capital owner or no manager can say that there are no women to fill those seats in the boards. It isn't the case in Turkey. In the top management level of global companies, there are a lot of women, so, and Turkish women. So of course we always need the women more in the equal representation, equal inclusion of women into the managing boards are important. If you are a company or an investor, I am sure that you have a look about the structure of the management of this company. Please be aware of that. How many women are taking place in this company? How many women are in the top level of the management of these companies are included? I strongly recommend that, because I believe that profitability changes, the culture of the company changes, the attention of the consumer and customers change, and their contribution to the economy also changes. Because when women are in the managing boards more, it is different. Yes, we are having marvelous interventions on this area. We have marvelous women cooperatives. I support them. I always buy the products of them. I sometimes, when I want from Mardin, from Diyarbakir, I buy a gift for my friends abroad, for example. We have women cooperatives who are producing great. But the important thing is to reach this scale, actually. For example, for the e-commerce websites, to make them all these products to be sold in these markets, we need more things to do to avoid at all costs, which will produce again after the using this markets tool. Of course, I hope in our country to an awareness for reaching the scale is needed in our country. I just humbly recommend that for with the platforms I have been working with. Being together is of course important. We have even a proverb: if you are united, you will be stronger. So our exports, our companies will have an in a very different level if we unite, if we individually endeavor, of course, or overcoming all these challenges. Yes, we are individually are doing this, or you will listen all of them how they managed it. But if they gather with other entrepreneurs, we will achieve a very different scale. So it's time to unite. I think it's time to have companies united, and I think that it's a time we have to do this. The time has come. You will listen a wonderful panel. You will listen very successful women here. I'm going to leave the floor for you to listen the panel, and I would like to extend my thanks to the conference organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Esteemed participants and dear speakers, first of all, we would like to extend our thanks to dear Leyla Alaton for this inspiring opening speech. This is the organization organized by Turkey Capital Markets Association. We are very happy to be with you in this Congress. In this union, we are going to listen success stories from women entrepreneurs. We have very precious women entrepreneurs here. I am here both as Kagider's chair, and also I am also representing the Sectoral Association Federation. I am the first woman chair of the association. Sectoral Association Federation is an independent and volunteer associations are united under its umbrella. And there are around 40 associations in our infrastructure, and we have 12,000 companies in our infrastructure. We can say we are working with, from machinery, from product to production, chemistry, automotive. We have different sectors working in this area, both in legal basis for women entrepreneurship, and also for ethical rules for leadership, and also institutionalization are topics we are working together with them. One of the most important activities we have organized is actually to organize 13th competitiveness congress we are going to hold. Especially it is a good event which is hosting the brand activities. It's a very beautiful one. Last week actually it was entrepreneurship week, and as Kagidar, we are also trying to create some awareness via the trainings we are doing and during entrepreneurship weeks for 12 years. So we are working with women for developing women entrepreneurship. So actually it is 19th of November is Women Entrepreneurship Day. So we're going to listen the experience of women entrepreneurs and their success stories. But first of all, we would like to listen about women entrepreneurship throughout the world and Turkey. I would like to give you some small piece of information to you. It's researchers show that 45% of men and 40% of women have an entrepreneurship potential. But unfortunately, women are having difficulties for realizing, putting this potential into life, into reality. So women are creating employment, they have an innovative influence, but they also create a multiplier effect for diminishing inequalities. There is also another research which is about providing gender equality. When the policies are applied throughout the world, in 2030, the world economy, the global economy, will have 13 billion US dollars potential to add to its economy. If we don't do anything, the world's global economy will lost 1 billion US dollars. So in our country, for gender equality, the supporting gender equality culture is something we have to integrate to every field of the life. But beyond that, in the professional life, to provide equal opportunities for women, we all try to work harder and active in this area to invest women entrepreneurs, to solve their problems, to promote role models, to develop their competitiveness capacity is actually the things which will accelerate Turkey's economy, we can say. Sustainable development and for economic growth, women and men shall contribute or include into the economy in the equal situations and equal conditions. As entrepreneurship is very hard, actually, it has a challenging period, but women are having more challenges on this journey because they have to struggle for it while starting, continuing, or developing a work in very basic points. Even they are having difficulties for accessing the finance, for accessing information, lack of mentors, and also networking or knowing women who are inspiring them are hard for them to. Women are inspired by women. They can say that I can do it. Then me too. They can say. So we have tens and thousands of women are inspired by these women entrepreneurs who are here right now. We have precious entrepreneur panelists here. Let me introduce them. Dear Bennaz Akyol Haznedar. She is the founder of Ben, and she is working in the airline catering company. She's the only woman boss in this area. Duygu Akbudak Özgün, she is the founding partner of Beneco. It is a very important infrastructure company for retail sector, and she is also an e-commerce solution partner. Welcome. Gülşah Gürkan, she is the founder, the partner of the company, which her family continuing in a family business, and it is now in the world, especially for rose production, natural rose products are introduced into the market throughout the world by her. Hülya, she is an inspiration for thousands of women, actually, a social entrepreneurship. She is working in the women sports sector, actually, and she is the Mint franchising brand creator and inspiration for it. All our four panelists are precious, as Leyla Laton also underlined that. Their experience are valuable for that. They are the member of Kagidars too. As the chair of Kagidar, I'm also proud of them. So without further ado, I would like to give the floor to Bennaz. Bennaz, you are actually you are in a structure where women employ women. So it's a very beautiful thing. And I would like to say personally, from the individual stories, we can see the bigger picture in an easier way, we can say. So your story is also valuable, I would like to say. Being a woman in your region, and if you had any difficulties, I would like to listen that. What about being a woman entrepreneur in Anatolia? I know that you have an experience both in public and private sector, and during these tender processes, did you have any challenges as a woman entrepreneur? We would like to listen you with your audience. Thank you, Miss Emine, for your beautiful words. First of all, I was a single woman who has to succeed in the area. I was a very young mother in 21, and I was divorced when I was 30. I was having challenges in a family which was a patriarchal one because I was a single mother, and at the age of 30, I was forced to open a business so that my a kid can have a strong role model as a mother, but my family was not in favor of them. They think that they can support me for my living, but my eyes, my brain was always in search of for something. I don't know what to do, but I want to do something. I was researching a lot. One day, when I was in an airline, a host was saying that a new airport was going to be opened and new businesses will be opened in the airport. And I even do not remember how I went to Istanbul. The only thing I remember that I would like to go there and get the piece of information I need. So I went to the new airport. There was an engineer that who was the site engineer from Alarco, and I went to him, and he said that I'm not interested in this business. Go there and go to that department. Just like a typical Anatolian woman, I bought a tray of baklava to the department, and I asked them what can I do for them, and got the information about how I can start the business. They said that we are not prepared yet. Give me your mobile phone, then we will call you. They told me. But I started to call them twice a week because I was afraid that they will forget me. I was always in need of reminding myself. And then 1 month passed and they called me and they said that the requirements are okay. I prepared, took them. And I look for them. You need to have a company. You need to have some documents. And of course, I didn't have any of them. I have a family friend, an accountant, and I went to him and I said that, please keep it as a secret. I have to open a company. We have immediately opened the company, and there were 5 different business branches, and I prepared documents for every branch, and they wanted me to prepare a customs union document. They wanted to prepare for a rental card point, but in 2 months, I had the tender process started. I prepared and delivered all the documents, and 4 job branches were rejected because I was lost. I had missing documents, and one of them only was accepted for a small buffet in the airport. And one of my friends saw that, only half of it, and it was $440 tender, and only say half of it, my friend does. I said $220 in the tender process. And they were surprised. They were looking to me in a surprised way. I was ashamed. And they said that, of course, we then became friends. The Najeshik said that, is this your first time? I said that, yes, but my friend told me like that. In the tender, do not say a cheaper price. But so the tender said it with $440. So I was so focused on money. I was only focused on taking the tender to get this buffet. How I can do it? I want to do business. And naturally, of course, I took the tender. I won it. I took the buffet, but I left the building that maybe as if I bought the airport. And I won a victory, I think. But in the morning, I thought that, Benas, how are you going to decorate there? You need materials. I have no money. My family's situation were not bad, but they do not let me work. But now, angel investors actually were in my life, actually. My school friend, he passed away, Recepun. I called him, and he was a food retailer. And I told him what I can do. I said, he said that don't worry, I will provide you all the goods you need, and then when you sell it, you can pay me. And I told him how I can decorate. It is because of an advertisement and a famous biscuit company of Turkey helped me to buy the shelves and decoration with the ad of the company. Then I started. And in the following, at 2 o'clock, there was a plane in the airport. And it was at 6. I was locking my daughter at home. I left home at night, and then I returned in the morning. And then airport started growing. I have applied for the cafe. I have applied for the other retailers. Then they started to demand sandwiches for me. I was giving sandwiches when there was delays in the flights. We didn't have any catering. There was only one catering company, and we were also in. I was dealing with other departments and communications correspondence with them. Then I have founded a catering company. It has 120 personnel right now. Now there are two catering companies in Turkey right now. We are providing all provinces for airline catering. Thank you so much for listening to me right now. So another message from here, you have to pursue your dream and you have to be determined, and you have to show that, you have to convince everyone that you want to achieve that dream. Thank you. I wish you success again. Now I'm going to give the floor to dear Duygu. She is going to talk about e-commerce. It is a very niche service. So for the retailers, there are lots of companies providing services. So how you find them? How did you find them? How you make them? How you make them convinced for working with you? I think this is again another decisive attempt, I can say. We have many different women entrepreneurs listening us, I think, or women who are trying to be an entrepreneur. What you want to say them? Which support you are here? You are also a women entrepreneur, which is a promising future for figure in the entrepreneurship area. So yes, Duygu, the floor is yours. Thank you so much. We would like to extend my thanks to you for your kind invitation, and I hope everyone is healthy listening us. And my story started 5 years ago, actually. And I was the founder of Benio with Barış. And when we founded it, we didn't dream of these points, maybe, but yes, no, we dreamed of this point actually, because we don't say that, yes, we are okay, it's enough for us. I hope we will tell you more beautiful stories of us in the next year. When we started, actually, our starting point was to feel a very serious need in the sector to solve a problem. How? It is just like a generic, maybe, but you have to develop a business which will solve a problem. And this was an idea came to my mind. 8 years ago, I worked in an institutional company for 8 years for finance, mayors, accountants, etc. When I have a look to the past, I can see that, as you mentioned, maybe it wasn't called like angel investor in those times, but there were people supporting us. And I can say that the thing in my soul wasn't called as an entrepreneurship, but I was learning from different experiences in different departments to prepare me for today. In the last 3 years, I was working in an accountant department or HR department. And for the first 2 years, we were 3 or 4 or 5 people as a team working for it. And in the experience, I have seen that I was managing a diaper company, and for creating a production process to make people try it. It was so important to promote it. Why? You said, for example, in these economic conditions, before buying a product, having a trial and to listen the comments of the people who tried it actually underlines or helps you to decide. So it was in e-commerce sector, in e-commerce platforms, mostly the product comments, unfortunately, was only about a fast or slow cargo deliveries or about these things, actually. But the thing we need was the comments about the products itself, to listen the feedbacks, to listen the voices of the consumers. So when I left office going home, I bought a product from a pharmacy, and while buying it, they give me a trial size product. It was actually a competitive company's product, and when I got home, I tried both products and I loved it and bought it from an e-commerce company. And I thought, oh, I got a sample size of this company, and the company which produced that actually knew that how they couldn't link the correlation that I got a sample size from a pharmacy, but I bought it from an online company, so they couldn't link me. So and listen my command. I hope it was. We need an independent platform to send the sample size to the right people. For example, if I have acne, the things I have to comment on are the skincare products which are appropriate for me. So it started it like that. And then when I went to the markets and brands, that this is my idea. It's called as Dene bunu, try it in English. And this platform was founded like that, and they liked the idea. I'd like to recommend everyone who wants to be involved in this market, whatever, if your idea is beautiful, when you got your first invoice, you can burst into tears. Your idea may be beautiful, but everyone was hesitating actually to be the one who take the first step. We've interviewed with a very great brand, and they asked me which brands I worked with, but they told me that, okay, come to us after 3 months, they said. But now they are a brand I work with because they hesitate about working with us. If you say that Dene bunu Duygu, and if you want to address to millions of consumers, you should also make your product and services to be tried by the brands. And I also proposed them to work with me for a month for free, and then if they are pleased with my service, I can charge them for in the second month. I said them, and they told me now we have 3 million members, and we are working with hundreds of companies. It is actually making me having a goosebump. It is very precious to reach people with your idea. When sometimes the thing important is not the idea, how beautiful your idea is. It is important how you perform, how you realize it, how you get it into the real life. So if you have a real solution in your mind, in your soul, and if you want to fill that gap, you have to pursue it, I can say. For the investment, in the second year, I got investment, but in fourth month, friends and family supported me in some small investments. And I always believed that when I started, I had a very small capital, and I had a small investment and the support of my father, but it was a very small amount. But I thought that it will only last for 8 or 9 months. And then when I needed money, I started getting invoices actually already. So if your idea is good, and the MVP, for example, if you want to sell water, if you want to be the best water brand, produce a bottle. And if you are sure that the consumer will feel the quality of it, everyone will come to you and every opportunity will be open to you. Do not afraid about expressing your thoughts and your ideas. I was anxious to express it, but when the time came, I started to express it in the clearest way. If you do it with your soul and heart, be a part of it. As Leyla Hanım also said, being united creates power. For women entrepreneurs and for all founders, actually, I can say we have many beautiful community actually supporting each other. I'm very happy to see that. As you also said when introducing me, all these three beautiful institutions are selecting these good women entrepreneurs. It opened me a good door, actually. Thank you so much for listening me.
Thank you so much. This has been really inspiring. We also see a certain determination, a belief. Once you have faith in your own story, then you can advance in your adventure with that determination. Now I'd like to give the floor to dear Gülşah Gürkan, who has inherited a traditional agriculture business from her family, and she made it international. So sometimes starting from scratch might sound easier, but developing and transforming what is already existing might be even more challenging. And in a way, you also have to prove it. This also brings about certain difficulties. She created Gül as a global brand. This is a Rose Cosmetics brand. So we'd also like to thank you so much. And in addition to that, a lot of several and sophisticated products have also been created by you, and you opened up your business to the global market. So from traditionalism to globalization, you have been part of this bumpy process. So of course, on the way to becoming a global enterprise, I'm sure you have received support from various organizations. Of course, having this demand to open up your enterprise to the global market and to envisage it and to make advances in that regard, this is all a very difficult process. What kind of investments have you received? How did you manage this? What was the attitude of your family and of the region? Let's hear it from you. So, of course, I would also like to emphasize that in the previous period, dear Gülşah was again awarded the Women Entrepreneur of the Year. So I'd like to congratulate you once again. We'll be very excited to listen to your story. Thank you so much, dear dear Emine. So I'd also like to thank again everybody who concerted their efforts to make this event possible. Thank you once again for your kind remarks. Yes, indeed, I was born into the roses ever since 1965. Globally famous perfume and cosmetic producers have received their raw materials from our family company, and I'm a third generation representative of our company. I've also taken over the raw material business, and I'm still continuing it, but I've always had a passion, this passionate search, this quest to create something from scratch. And based on this experience that we obtained in relation to the unique benefits of rose, I started to create a cosmetic brand. So I worked with the best French specialists, and we created a skin care series that is natural, beneficial, and effective. So today we have more than 10 countries, more than 1,000 points of sale, and we bring our products to our users in Turkey. We are present in more than 358 plus pharmacies in all the elite cosmetic chains, in the airports, stores, and in open marketplaces. We are offering our products. So when it comes to the entrepreneurship journey of our women, we have, of course, socioeconomic difficulties, but one of the most important disadvantages is that they don't have enough access to capital or accumulated capital. That also applied to me, actually. Of course, now we have several grants, loans, incentives for women entrepreneurship. We have public organizations, the private sector that support women entrepreneurship. Very nice opportunities are provided. So I also use these opportunities. Actually, I started out on this track from scratch, and now I've come to this step. So of course, I gained experience. I gained support from my family in terms of experience, contacts, and recognition. I have inherited a very valuable name, but financially speaking, I didn't receive any support from my family because we have a certain raw material, which is the rose. So based on this raw material, we produce several different cosmetic products, and we also produce several raw materials. It has a certain market, it has a certain sales volume, but I wanted to have a finished cosmetic product out of this rose with more added value, which is 100% natural, which is more higher quality than the rose water on the market. But of course, it would be a higher cost product. I wanted to take this risk completely on my own. So I use my personal savings in order to buy my own rose as raw material, and I made my first rose water. I am very happy that I listened to my instinct, my gut feeling, and I took that risk. So I also ask our women entrepreneurs to listen to their gut feeling when they embark on their adventures. So I didn't separate the essential oil of the rose, and I took a step into this market, and I used this full rose water, whole rose water product, and I started to exhibit my product in various expos in the US, in the Far East, in European countries. I went to all these expos and events, but of course I needed financial support for this. I contacted IMIP, which is the Association of Exporters of Turkey, and I received the national participation organizational support that they provide to entrepreneurs who attend international fairs. So in every fair and expo, I established contacts and I had networks. Afterwards, I financed the next expo participation. So until 2010, I worked for export. I also made some money. In the year 2014, based on the demands from the Turkish market, I entered the domestic market. I also added new products to my product range. But in this gigantic cosmetic world, if you are going to do something, you need to work with the best in that business. Based on my network, I contacted several consultants and experts. I talked to several specialists, and I was greatly excited by two specialists, one about the cosmetic range of products and the other one about cosmetic marketing. These were gentlemen who worked at top levels in international companies for many years, but I didn't have the financial means to work with either of them. Of course, their honorariums were very high. So I went back to Turkey and I started to explore the opportunities for funding. And then back then, EBRD had this consulting support. Somehow, actually, my turnover was below their minimum required level, but somehow the board wanted to give me this chance. I managed to convince them to give me this chance, and then the consultants also gave me a bit of a discount. So we met in between for 2 years. I worked with support from EBRD, and for 4 years, I've been self-financing my collaboration with those specialists. They provided great support for the brand creation. So in this entrepreneurship adventure, you can use your passion, your excitement, and you can convince other people with this. I'm sure you can involve them as such in your journey. Then I benefited from many means of support to develop my business. Our banks provide reasonable loans for women entrepreneurship. I also benefited from several means of support by cost gap. Also, I benefited from the brand registration support. Globally speaking, I received support for transportation, for design, for qualified personnel. So in many fields, I took leaps with all this means of support. So also we have some support for export. Our Ministry of Trade has great assistance in that sense. So when you want to enter a new market, a new country, the required reports, the required tests and analysis can be provided to you by this ministry. Of course, as a woman entrepreneur, we don't only need money, we also need correct role models, the correct network. We also need to have the necessary contacts and communication. So I think it's very important to become a member of associations such as Kagidar and IBF. I really recommend this to you. Since year 2014, I've been a member of Kagidar. With our president, Emina, ranking the first, I met very valuable people. I cooperated with women who support each other. This has been very beneficial for me. Also, I also recommend entrepreneurs to attend contests that promote women entrepreneurship. They give you great support in terms of promotion and financing. So once I was selected as the Women Entrepreneur of the Year, I grabbed the attention of several investors. Now I'm assessing certain offers that I have received. Apart from that, the private sector also has some support. EY Turkey is now supporting the leadership skills of women entrepreneurs. They have this training program in the class of 2021. I was also a student and I'm proud of it. So as women entrepreneurs, our biggest task is to set an example. We need to be role models. With my finished cosmetic goods within the first 5 years, I managed to achieve the same turnover that we had achieved over many years with raw material exports. So with a capital of almost zero, I managed to use all these incentives and the support means of support. I hope that I can be an example and I can give inspiration to all our women entrepreneurs. Dear Gülşah, thank you so much. Yes, when it comes to women entrepreneurs, state policies are important, but also other incentives and support assistance, they are very important. It should be part of the public policies, but also in this ecosystem, we need to have the support mechanisms to strengthen women entrepreneurs. So I hope there will be more and more such mechanisms. You explained this very well. You also talked about the globalization process. So now we are going to talk to dear Bedriye Hülya. So in addition to being a social entrepreneur as BFIT, Muzipa Kids, which is a movement club for kids. So these are her enterprises. So she, I think, is inciting women to become entrepreneurs. So she also set up a social platform called Biz Bize. This is very valuable. So I call Bedri a serial social entrepreneur. She's a serial social entrepreneur. And also she has been a role model for women entrepreneurs. She's been a mentor in Turkey and abroad. In the 2013, in the World Economic Forum, she was elected as the Social Entrepreneur of the Year by the Schwab Foundation, and this is a great source of pride for all of us. Our panel is so pleasing and our conversation is great, but I can see that dear esteemed participants can have questions. You can address your questions via the chat function on Zoom, and we can also answer your questions in the final session. Our entrepreneur colleagues will share them with you. So, dear Bedriye, the World Economic Forum up until 2020 envisaged that this impact investment market would reach $500 billion. It would even be doubled, according to the social experts. So this impact investment, this is an entrepreneurship behavior. We know that it's also related to sustainability and circular economy, and it provides great contribution to these fields. So when you talk about impact investment, and especially in the sectorial field, what kind of a demand do you receive? I would also like to especially ask you about this. As within the period of time during which women entrepreneurs work in their field as compared to the male entrepreneurs, to which extent are they able to gain investment? So from a national and international perspective, what are your opinions of the assistance and support given to women entrepreneurs, or how should it be? Please share your opinion with us, and we are expecting questions from the audience. Yes, I've been setting up businesses for many years. So I've established most often for-profit companies, and of course the best part was to sell the companies. And then when I was around the age of 42, I switched to the social sector. This was there because of an anger, because of an awareness after I understood that I was hugely oppressed. I and a couple of women friends, we wanted to do something, and because sports, it's such a strong means, we wanted to use sports in order to franchise only women, and we established BFIT, which has female members where women are working, and we are still continuing our business by franchising only women. So this was my switch to the social sector. So first of all, what does social entrepreneurship mean? I would also like to mention this so that we're all on the same page. So social entrepreneurship. Social enterprises set out on the way to solve societal and environmental problems, but they use the instruments of for-profit companies. So there is no difference there. You generate profit, but your sole aim is not to generate profit. You want to overcome social and environmental problems. So when it comes to impact investment, it means that you are investing in such companies. So you are investing in companies that have a positive impact on the society and the environment. So it's not rocket science. It's very easy to understand. So what distinguishes it from the other investments. So talking about the other investments, I'm talking about investments that are only for profit. So the difference here is the intention, because you here would like to create a positive impact on the environment and the society, and this impact should be measurable. These are the important critical points. According to IFC in the year 2020, the impact investment market is $2.3 trillion. So what about the situation in Turkey? I would like to give you the good news. It hasn't become fashionable yet in our country. Hopefully, once it's fashionable, all the private equities, all the angel investors will turn into impact investors. So this impact entrepreneurship has been accelerated in the world with the COVID pandemic, because we have all been shaken by this process. We faced our existential concerns. So, of course, we have very significant crises such as climate, pollution, violence, lack of equality, lack of access to resources, shelter, food crisis. So, when you do business only for profits, this is called an avoidance behavior. Our house is on fire, but in order not to face that, we just want to go to the cafeteria or play backgammon. But that's not what we should be doing today. We are all aware of this. And when we come to the specific issue of women, and if you look at the social impact world, the situation of women still continues to be interesting. As you know, in the pandemic in New Zealand, we have Ardern. In Germany, we had Merkel. So these have been women leaders that have emerged as really great leaders. So actually, countries that have been ruled by women managed to cope with the pandemic period much better. But according to the World Economic Forum reports, in order to have social gender equality in politics, we still need 65 years. And of course, that's an optimistic view. So there's still need for 95 years. So according to Ashoka, in social impact companies, actually, this is also the case for typical companies. As men grow, they either scale up or they scale out. They have growth, external growth. But when you look at women, they have scale deep. So they ensure growth to the bottom. What does that mean? The cultural norms, the mentalities, changes in the system, inequality. These are the topics that women are dealing with. So when you look at the measurements in the impact investments, so I told 3 criteria. One of them was the intention. The other one is impact or contribution. And the other one is measurements. So when you look at impact investments, you see that they also measure this in numerical terms. So when you have a numerical measurement, you have a different mentality. You don't see this deep growth. So the social impact investors are not assessing this. What does that mean? Again, women are found to be disadvantaged because they don't look at the strength of the women. These impact investment assessors don't look at the strength of the women. So this is the situation in social impact companies or also in the for-profit companies. It's very difficult for women to attract investment. As you know, I have become more senior now. If you are more senior, if you are older, people listen to you more. Even though I'm older, I still find that I have to explain myself much more than a man. I find myself in this situation. I really need to explain myself or what needs to be the ideal situation. So we have visible and invisible barriers to the presence of women in the business life, and they also have challenges when it comes to finding funds or resources to grow and establish their companies. But when you talk about doing business for the future and for survival, women are stronger, and most importantly, women are more inclusive, and this is what we need today. So I'd like to give the floor back to you. Really, yes, women are strong, determined, and inclusive. I agree. I totally believe this to be true. So when you look at the situation from this perspective, as I just mentioned, on the 19th of November, we will celebrate the World Day of Women Entrepreneurs. As Kagidash and as all the civil initiatives in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, we would like to focus on the awareness of women and on further creation of impact in order to develop this women entrepreneurship. We are trying to create the awareness. I don't see any questions coming in, but let me ask the final questions just to touch upon once again on your opinion. So on the 19th of November, we will celebrate the World Day of Women Entrepreneurs. So when you talk, what can you say to the women who want to become entrepreneurs, who would like to chase their dreams? Please express it in one sentence. So I am addressing the same questions to all of you. What is your message to our women entrepreneurs? Yes, I can say it based on my own personal anecdotes and based on the anecdotes that other colleagues have expressed. They should be courageous. They shouldn't be afraid. They should focus. They should work hard. There is no other alternative because nobody is giving you anything for free. You have to claim it. You have to ask for it. And actually, women have this feeling of struggle in their nature. They should just unabashedly explore it and express it. And they should take risks. Yes, I would also like to say the following to all the beautiful women who would like to become entrepreneurs, or to all the women entrepreneurs. I hope that they take the first step as soon as possible, because once you take the first step, the rest will come later. You will see that you have embarked on this road. It's a bumpy road. It's not a straight road, but you will learn a lot. Every year, I still continue to learn a lot and never give up. It is a very challenging but very pleasurable trip. And I hope that they will soon embark on this journey. I hope they will find this courage within themselves. Thank you, dear Gusha. What's your recommendation to our women entrepreneurs? Yes, I also have similar thoughts for our women entrepreneurs. In order to fly, start clapping your wings. You will find other people who will support you on this journey. You will also meet people that will be part of your dreams. Chase your dreams with great passion and be perseverant and be ready to work very hard. Bedriye, yes, working, being decisive, being determined. We expect a lot of characteristics from women entrepreneurs. What are your recommendations? Well, humbly speaking, I don't think that just recommendation is enough. We should continue along this path. We need to push each other up. We need to pull each other up. And let's continue along this journey all together. Yes, actually, based on all these beautiful stories, based on the anecdotes of these successful women entrepreneurs, we can see that they've actually emerged through various difficulties to achieve this success. So being successful means that you overcome the difficulties. So on the way of being successful, we have listened to the adventures of women entrepreneurs. They are all very valuable in their own way. So I would like to share them once again for opening up our horizons, for sharing their anecdotes once again. So I'd like to say that whether it's economic or whether it's on a global platform, we see that women have this coping talents. Women have the skill to cope with difficulties. I would like to thank each and every one of you, but I would also like to thank the Turkish Capital Markets Association. So I still see really good feedback, but there's just one question, Bedriye, for you. I just want to address this question to you because I don't want to have the answer again. So there is a perception, or there is this urban legend that women don't support each other in the business world, but they actually block each other's way. How can we overcome this? And there is another colleague who said that they've been very satisfied, but I don't see any other feedback in the chat, so I'd like to give the floor to Bedriye. This is just BS. There is no such thing. I've been working with women for many years. Nobody has ever tried to prevent me from being successful, I think this can be the expression of the person's own malintentions. So we are all parts of this big ecosystem, especially in the pandemic periods. I don't know if you agree, but especially when you look at this period of the pandemic, which has had global impacts. In this period, civilian initiatives and this female entrepreneurship ecosystem have become very important. With this collective consciousness, we have strengthened each other, we have supported each other, and we've become part of this mechanism that's aimed at making things better. I think we all agree on this. Women are not there to undermine each other. They are there to support each other. So with this collective consciousness, we have been supporting each other. When Kagidar was founded, it was around 4% when it was founded in 2002, but now it's around 14%. So according to the Turkish Statistics Institute numbers, there has been a 2% increase in the pandemic period. So as I just mentioned, women entrepreneurs are very successful in challenging periods ranging from economic crisis to the pandemic period. They have this determination, they have this courage, they have this awareness. Therefore, if we can have collective solidarity, I believe a better future is possible. Thank you once again for listening to us, and we